That means we've got a special guest here on the Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. James, do the honors.
It's Rebecca Pratt. Welcome, Rebecca.
We got back for another Thursday. It's our old pal, Rebecca.
Well, Rebecca's got stories now because Rebecca had a date night last night.
Well, now, Rebecca, I know that you and James are good friends and you go back quite a bit. I hope you don't aren't upset that he's spilling the tea on you last night. He's like, Becca's out on a date. We had questions, but now you're here, so we don't need questions. James said, go ahead, James, take the lead. I'm going to have a drink, and I'm going to keep monitoring the house that exploded in Pennsylvania.
How'd your date go? How'd your date go?
Fine. Kind of. I'm looking for work. So,
well, hang on. How do those Venn diagrams overlap? Date and work.
I know what I'm thinking.
I know what I'm thinking, Rebecca. Mm-hmm. Are we thinking right?
Yeah, but that's what I've been doing. You asked how my day was going, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, you got paid for your date last night?
No.
Okay, no, that's what it sounded like.
That is what
I'm not doing.
That's what it sounded like, though. Okay.
Hey, hold on, guys. Let me break it down for you. What I heard, and I was looking at the Pottstown hashtag, what I heard was, how was your date? The response was, I'm looking for work. And that's when I went, this is suddenly more interesting than the house that exploded. So forgive us for being a bit confused. That was a tiny bit convoluted there, the way the answer played out. And yes, Al, this is a Han Solo shirt that I'm wearing. Han is peeking out from.
The date went all right. It happened to be went out to dinner at my favorite restaurant here in the city of New Orleans, and so that was great.
Name drop it. Dickie Brennan's.
Dickie Brennan's Steakhouse.
Man, that place is so good. That's probably my favorite place in New Orleans too.
Rebecca, can I get you to do me a favor? Can you bring it any way possible? Bring your mic up just a little bit. I'm having a little trouble getting you at a good level.
Well, if I had a mic, I would try to turn it up. I think I do, but I'd have to leave for a second and then go get it.
We'll make it work. Don't you worry.
Yeah, why hook up a mic when you're going to be on a radio show? Yeah, that's
well. But it was a really it was. I mean, I love eating there, and I mean the date was all right. I'll explain.
Please do.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been on this show a few times, but I've never told anyone I'm transgender. You could probably tell by my voice.
You don't say, yeah.
I don't use a fake voice, but I always dated girls and women my whole life, and I've been very fortunate. But I've always done this too, and now I'm at a point where I'm doing this, and we'll see what happens. But since I've been doing this and living like this, only guys seem to be interested. And so I'm attracted to women. I've always been. I love women. You can't change that. But it's weird going out with dudes. That's probably been the strangest part of this whole thing here. But I mean, it's great walking into my favorite restaurant in the city, and you know, it's a fairly expensive place too. I mean, it's fantastic.
It's ragingly expensive, yes.
But I mean, I said yes to go because I'm living like this now, and it's better than being alone. And heck yeah, I'll go to my favorite restaurant with you. And the conversation was great, and everything was great. But then it came to after the date, and that's where I have a tough time. At least I do right now. You know, with the guy wanting, you know, maybe to make out or whatever. I'm still. That's kind of tough. But the date was great.
James, how are we
Yeah,
going to do
okay,
this?
okay.
'Cause
So, no,
I
no,
know we
no.
both have questions.
Yeah, well, but I mean, let's just go through it. So you're saying like after Dickie Brennan's, what did he do? He asked you for like to go somewhere for a drink, or Dixie Divas? Did he ask you to go to? Because that's like 2 blocks away. Dixie Divas
um,
is a tranny bar, Pugs.
we did go to this. We did just go to this neighborhood place for a drink after, and that was it.
Any place I know, it wasn't like Cajun Mike's or something, was it?
Um, no, it was just a little place in the quarter. You know Aaron Rose.
I do, I do. I got a matchbook from them in my studio right now. But yeah,
So
that's like it's like 2 blocks away from Dickie Brennan's. And
yeah,
then how?
just
Well,
just had a drink after that, and then came home. But like I mentioned, when it's time, when people go on a date, there's a time in the date where
the proposition happens.
something's supposed to happen,
Did
right?
you get asked? Did
Ain't
he
nothing
ask you
free.
home? Did he ask you to come back to his place, or if he could come up to your place? Like, was the offer on the table and you turned it down, or what?
Well, yeah.
Or did y'all have more of a conversation about, and you're like, I don't know if I'm ready to take this next step?
No, I didn't say that. But when it was that time of the night to saying goodbye and hey, I'll call you again, or we'll go out again. When two people usually kiss, I don't know. I just
Did you even kiss? Did you do nothing?
a peck,
Ah, what a bad day. You're supposed to give it up.
Wait, peck with lips or peck on the cheek, lip to lip peck? What kind of peck?
just a
Whoa.
little peck on the lips.
All right, that's fine. I kiss
All
my
right.
lip.
So the offer was on the table. That is a big step because you haven't done that, right? You've like kissed a dude once and that's it.
Yeah, like I said, I've been with women my whole life.
So is this your first, since this latest incarnation, is this your first date with a dude?
No, I've gone on a few dates.
Oh, you just don't tell me about those, huh?
No, I've gone on a few dates, but that one thing that I just mentioned happens every date.
Mm-hmm.
Could have a good time, whatever the case would be. Then it comes time to,
Why don't you mention these other dates? Are you hiding? I mean, are you like ashamed of it to tell me, or just, yeah?
no. I mean, like I said, I dated women my whole life. This is something new because I'm living like this now. And I mean, it's wild, but
Are you worried that I'm judging you right now? Because like you're doing stuff with dudes, and I think that's gross.
no.
I think I might
Right?
be making her a little nervous. I think that you and Rebecca have a long relationship, and I'm sort of the weirdo, right? I'm the guy that it stands to reason. But you don't know me that well, Rebecca. But between James and I would be the one that would be considered the respectful one.
That's bad news, isn't it?
Well, no. James, do you mind? I have a couple of questions that I would like to, because this is interesting. This
Wait,
is
hang
fascinating.
on. Do I know this dude?
Okay.
No.
Okay, go ahead, folks.
Okay, hold on. I am having some issues here with. Let me bring that down a little. Rebecca, can you count to 5, please?
1, 2,
You sound fine.
3.
Yeah, Rebecca's
Rebecca,
audio's
four.
a good level, just a little echoey.
Yeah.
5.
Okay. So, Rebecca, as you have revealed, you are. What is the proper way to think of you? Someone like my middle-aged heterosexual man in his 50s, new world unfurling before me. I'm trying to keep up with it. I'm trying to be as respectful and accepting of everyone. I'm a progressive guy. How do I think of you now? You said are you a trans woman first and foremost? Is that how I would?
Yeah, that's how I would be defined at this point. And that's how you should
Okay.
think of me.
So as a trans woman, you are orientation wise, formerly a straight man.
Yes.
Your orientation is that you are not gay. You are a trans woman, but you are not a gay man.
No, I never was.
Okay. So you find yourself now in this conundrum where you are living your best life, as the kids say, and you are now out in the world as a trans woman. Now, I theorized last night, the very small. We weren't talking behind your back or anything, just but the very small. James brought it up that you had a date, and I said that that would make you a trans lesbian orientation wise. Is that a thing?
Yeah, if I went out with a woman.
Okay. But because of your new lifestyle, you have found that the only people that seem to be interested in taking you out are men. So you're forced to sort of make some interesting new choices for you, ones that you are not naturally orientated to. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So would you then in some way, shape, or form, just as a human being, not as a man, not as a biological man, not as a trans woman, would you consider yourself then sexually fluid at this point, open to whatever presents itself?
Um, Perhaps.
Okay. Okay. So I mean this has got to
And
be
like
a
I said,
very
I've gone on a few dates
Mhm.
with dudes. And by the way, the reason I did is because it makes me feel pretty good when a guy meets me someplace, whether it's in a bar or outside or online, and he likes what he sees, and he asks me out. I mean, and these guys, they're straight dudes.
right.
Gay guys are not attracted to me. Gay
Mhm.
guys like guys who look like guys.
It's I understand that completely because we are talking about the ego. We are talking about the self-esteem. And I myself, back when Kelly and I, my partner, that we used to do radio here in Dallas, we were massively popular among the Dallas gay community. They loved us. They loved us. And I found myself all the time being approached, propositioned, and hit on by gay men. And even though I am a heterosexual guy, I was flattered. I mean, there wasn't this thing where I'm like, because I'm not Brad Pitt. I don't walk into a room and every woman looks at me. But
No, that's cool. That's cool.
yes,
That's cool that gay guys are hitting on you, but don't let that go to your head.
well, but what I'm saying is to try and compare that to the experience that you're having now. It
Yes.
feels good. It's just irregardless of whatever your orientation is, you can sort of take that into your own self-esteem and build on it, and it makes you feel good. People were like, "That gay dude, would he just give you your number?" Like we used to do this thing. James, you remember we would do the gay pub crawls where we'd go to all
Oh
the gay
yeah.
bars and all that stuff. And like that dude just gave you my number. I'd have friends say it. I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty awesome. People, a lot of more macho guys, a lot of more. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with who I am.
No, the best is like when someone buys you a drink, you're like, really? This is what it's like. This is great.
You like me? Oh
Yeah,
my
like
god! I mean, we're not doing anything, but oh my god, thank you.
they're so nice because like
Yeah.
trying to objectify a man
Mhm.
is like trying to drown a fish. They're like, "Do you work out?" And you're like, "Yeah, I live somewhere. I'm glad you noticed. Like, I
Yeah.
put a lot of work into this. This
So
is great."
it's very interesting this sort of metamorphosis that you're going through, Rebecca. But it's also interesting just when you remove all of the labels and the tags, you're dealing with. You said yourself, nobody wants to be alone, and it feels nice to know that people want to be in your company. So that is something that I can completely understand, and I think everybody else can as well.
Hey, Stephen Ray in the chat room asked me, would you ever date a trans man?
Bugs, go to the chat frame over there and do that thing where you pop it up on the screen.
Isn't it up on the screen?
Well, you know what I mean. You know how it highlights one if you click on it.
No.
Yeah, under the chat screen, just double click one of those comments, and it'll put it down as a lower third.
To answer your question, Stephen,
Will it?
if
Oh,
a trans man who was
Do it.
cool asked me out, I'd probably go out with him. I mean, I'm single, sure.
Like, how many could there possibly be out there, though? A trans man that is into a trans woman.
I know that's pretty wild.
Well, because the perfect thing, like your unicorn that you're looking for, is a hot chick that's just into a trans woman. So it would be like a sort of lesbian, but a lesbian that likes wieners.
Yeah, something like that. And
So,
I've had girlfriends in the past. Some were cooler with this than others because I've been dealing with this my whole life, and I during the long term relationships I've had with women, attractive women too, um, they were all fairly cool with this. Some cooler than others, but I,
I find that interesting. You say you've been dealing with this your entire life. So this is something that, when did you first, when did this first sort of pop up in your life? What age are we talking about?
I was a little kid. I was like 6 or 7 years old, putting my mother's lipstick on.
Okay.
She always kept a big, huge container of her makeup in the family bathroom, and for whatever reason, I was just drawn to it. I don't know why.
And
Um,
what is the reason for the shift? Has it been this climate of the last few years where the trans lifestyle is more culturally, socially acceptable? Is that what made you finally feel comfortable, or was it just would you have anyway?
Perhaps you're right, but I'm getting older, and time
Be happy.
time's running out, and
Be
it's like,
happy.
if this is what I wanted to do this a long time ago, and I
Mhm.
actually did for a little while, a couple of different times, but for different reasons, I wasn't able to
No,
keep doing
actually,
this.
for the same reason is because you got the next big radio job. And so you had to take off the wig, put on boy clothes, and go be John again. And that's what happened both times when you had your shot to do it.
Yeah. So now I'm doing it, and it's been going well. Like I've got a documentary that we're trying to get into these film festivals, um, about me being trans. So I've got some things going on, but I'm looking for my first job
Well, let me ask you
like
that.
this.
Is that a line of inquiry that we're comfortable discussing? Because, do we tell people what you used to do, or what kind of work you're looking for? Because I have some questions along those lines, if that's something you're comfortable talking about. Is that something that's dealt with
Well,
in your documentary?
I don't mind. I mean, but I hope there's a few other things you want to talk about tonight because there's some stuff going on.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm comfortable going anywhere that James wants to go. James, take it from here.
Is there a second date coming up?
I'm not sure. I'll tell you if I get the phone call.
Not sure. Okay, let me ask you this then. Why didn't you come out when we were working together, man? I told you should have come out when we were at iHeart. This could have been such a good bit, and
Yeah,
people would have thought you were
think so too.
people would have thought we were doing a bit for a month before they finally caught on that Rebecca's real and it's not a bit. Like that's just would have been so fun. Why didn't you do that?
I I I, I guess I just didn't want to mix my work with this.
They wouldn't have been able to fire you. They wouldn't have been able to cut you, for cutbacks or whatever the reasons were. I don't pretend to know.
Bro,
But
we'd have a Netflix show by now.
yeah, yeah, you'd have been indemnified.
Yeah.
I heard they okay. My last question, and because and I do apologize, but these are all very interesting, things, and I think that this is a great opportunity that we have someone that we're comfortable talking with who is openly discussing this now. A lot of people, this is an issue that a lot of people are, screaming at each other about these days, and now I have an opportunity, and James has an opportunity to actually speak to someone like a human being instead of just putting up all these labels. So my question to you would be this. You worked in broadcasting and you kept this part of your life a secret, and you've got a documentary coming out about all of this. Does the documentary cover your work in the broadcast or the media industry?
Yeah.
It does. Okay, man, I think that's a great angle. I hate to think I know it's your life, and here I am thinking about angles, right? I no disrespect intended. Was it because I mean, I listened to you. James, James got me interested in what you were doing because I've always been a follower of James, and he started with my show, so I've always taken an interest in his career. And I'm wondering, was your reluctance to embrace this side of yourself publicly with your audience, did it have anything to do with the format of radio that you were doing? The a fear that possibly the listener that you were targeting might not accept it? Was that did that play into it?
Yeah, I sure. I mean, this that I'm proud of. People tell me I should be. Some people do.
Yeah.
But this isn't something I ever wanted to share with the audience. I just
Boy,
I
I
never
almost
even thought about it.
I almost wish I had something like that. You're right, James. James and I have talked about it. It's like, man, this dude, that Rebecca should be on 1,000 stations nationwide
I
in
know.
2022. This is like a thing. This
Yeah,
is
people see my airs check, and I might as well just like title it another just basic middle-aged white guy,
yeah,
right? And just
yeah.
that's all I got going.
I mean,
Nothing.
for us, it's a gimmick. For you, it's your life. So I do understand that, and maybe
Man, ride this wave though. Damn it. You should have played that card at Bayou. You should have played it at WWL. You should have played it at WRNO. We would be out of here. Our career would be out. We'd be in New York City right now.
how are they gonna get rid of you? How they gotta do budget cutbacks? They gotta
They
let a show
couldn't.
go?
They
They
couldn't promote her
can't.
fast enough. No.
Right, man.
Uh,
I'm telling you,
you
Jagger is a great example of this. I love Chris Jagger.
do you know the Jagger story? Because that's a great comparison, Pugs. That's a good point.
Yeah, are you familiar with Chris Jagger at all?
No.
Okay, Chris Jagger was an extremely popular music morning person here in Dallas, and he came out of the closet, and it shocked everyone because he was a guy's guy, big dude, good-looking dude, funny, for all intents and purposes, he was the
He's a
playboy.
masculine dude. You couldn't tell.
Very much. Well, as my partner Kelly used to call him, worst gay dude ever. Because he had none of the things that gay guys are supposed to have, which is the well kempt appearance, and yeah, he was in shape, and he was a big man, and he was a very attractive man. He used to host that TV show back in the '80s.
Like not blind date, change of heart.
Change of Heart. Yeah, he was on Fox Television from coast to coast back in the mid
Remember that
'90s.
dating game on Fox? Change your
Yeah,
heart,
Change
change
of
of
Heart was
heart.
great. My first wife and I watched it every night, and then I ended up working with him. But, he he came out, and his contract came up, and he came over to our station, which was at the time the Howard Stern guy talk, tits and ass, guy station, and they made him the morning man, and he was gay, and but he wasn't flamboyant. He was a dude, he liked sports, and he talked shit, and he was really, witty and all that guys. He was just a very interesting creature, and I always admired the shit out of him. And he said once, he's like, well, I just figured, I gotta be me, gotta be me. It was that time in America where it seemed like nobody was really caring anymore. And then he even became, remember, James, they switched to sports. And he was the morning guy on a
On a
sports
sports
station
station.
in
Yeah.
Dallas, Texas. And everybody knew he was a gay man. And it just, I mean, he's out of
And
the
no one
business
cared.
now. I think he quit, but he was great.
I
Nobody
think
cared.
that's the times we're living in now, and I don't think the younger generation gives a rat's behind
No,
uh,
not at all.
about gay people or trans people or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but the to the older generation, you're like the bearded lady. You're a
Yeah,
freak
Yeah.
show. So it works. It works. It works all the way around. So let's go. Let's do it.
I think there's a number of us who would be classified in the older generation who are trying and are trying to go, you know what? This is a new world and it's not my world anymore. I am no longer relevant. I'm a man in my 50s. If this is what's happening now, look, the easiest way to get old is to stop expecting or accepting what the next generation deems okay. Right. So
Mhm.
you don't, I don't have to like their music, but I'm not going to say it sucks because if you have kids, you go through this, right? They play a song and you want to tell them it sucks. It's not, that's not Aerosmith. But you can't do that because that's the quickest route to becoming old. You gotta go, "Oh,
Yes.
what do you like about this? Tell me what you like about my kid. My kid loves the baby." It's like his favorite, the
Oh, I
baby.
love the baby.
Yeah, well, my kid does too. And I'm like I'm like, "Oh, well, do you like it, Dad? Tell me what you like about it. Sell it to me." You gotta have that attitude, and that's what I think a lot of people, like myself, a 52-year-old man who, we're seeing the world as it's changing, and instead of fighting it and going, "No!" We're going, "All right, just give me a moment with it. Just give me a moment to wrap
Well,
myself."
that's cool. Well, I guess that's progress.
Yeah.
The law really likes the baby too.
I don't know any of these
The
people.
baby gets in trouble a little bit.
The baby.
The
Oh, yeah.
baby killed a guy in Walmart.
Yeah, the
The guy,
baby's been in the jail before.
I thought the law was just, I don't know, another hip hop performer. I didn't really pick up on that.
the
All right,
law.
James, what do you say we transition effortlessly into what we like to do each and every day at the start of the show?
Wait,
We
hang
call
on.
it
Stephen
monologue.
Ray says, "What's the documentary?" Do we have an answer for that, even Rebecca?
Yeah, it's going to be it's called Being Becky, and it's going to be in a couple of film festivals coming up later this year, and then we'll see what happens after that happens. Um, but it's a documentary. It's an hour and 10 minutes long, and it's just about me being trans and my life. And
We're gonna need to add about 20 minutes if you're really looking at international distribution. But I'm sure we could come up with that. We could come up with an additional 20 minutes.
Parker's in a big scene actually, and it's a really good scene.
I think we just did 10 minutes right here that could be inserted into the into the
Mhm.
documentary. We'll get to that 90-minute mark for international distribution. That's we'll get there.